everyone, and welcome to Flicks and Chill 1616. I'm Michelle, and I love chatting about all kinds of movies and shows. From cozy favorites to binge-worthy picks, each week we dive into a new title, share my thoughts, and have a little fun along the way. Today we're doing something a little different because Disney has just held its latest D23 event, and there was a lot of Disney news to talk about. From upcoming movies and new Disney Plus projects to returning favorites and announcements that caught my attention, there was plenty coming out of this event. So today, we're going to take a look at some of the biggest announcements from D23 2026 and talk about what I'm most excited to see. So grab a drink, get comfy, and let's jump right in. Before we get into all the movies and Disney Plus announcements, I want to start with something that is really special part of D23, the Disney Legends Ceremony. For those who may not be familiar with it, the Disney Legend program honors the people who have made significant contributions to the Walt Disney Company and its history. Every D23, Disney celebrates a new group of legends, recognizing the actors, creators and artists, executives, and other talented people who have helped shape the Disney we know today. So before we look at what's coming up, I thought it would be nice to take a moment to look back at some of the people Disney chose to honor this year. First up was Bob Iger, who was presented with his Disney Legends Award by current Disney executive Josh D'Amore. His induction also includes special tribute speeches from Robert Downey Jr., Harrison Ford, Ellen Pompeo, Diane Sawyer, and Al Michaels. Next was Anne Hathaway, who was presented with her award by The Devil Wears Prada director David Frankel. Lin-Manuel Miranda was next, with his award presented by Moana star Auli Cavahol. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. His induction also included a musical melody featuring Jordan Fisher and Nicki M. James. The Jonas Brothers were also inducted as Disney Legends, and their award was presented by fellow Disney Channel alum Vanessa Hudgens. Alan Tudyk was presented his Disney Legends Award by Zootopia co-star Jennifer Goodwin. And the final, Kim Irvin, was presented with her award by actress and fellow Disney legend Ming-Na Wen. Congratulations to all of this year's Disney Legends. It's always really special to see Disney recognize the people who have helped shape the company and create so many memorable movies, shows, character, and experiences for fans. But the Disney Legends ceremony is just one part of D23. The event also features plenty of panels, so let's take a quick look. Of course, the big announcements aren't the only thing happening at D23. The event also features panels, presentations, Q&As, special appearances, and fan experiences, giving fans a chance to see some of their favorite stars and creators in person. There are far too many panels and presentations happening throughout the event for me to go through all of them here, so I'm not going to attempt to cover everything. Instead, I want to highlight one that I was particularly interested in, and that's Camp Rock 3. The Camp Rock 3 cast made an appearance at the event, bringing together both the original stars and new generation of campers. The Jonas Brothers, Kevin, Joe, and Nick Jonas took the stage during the Disney Entertainment Showcase to introduce the new cast and celebrate the next chapter of the Camp Rock franchise. We also got to see some of the new generation of campers, including Liamani Seguera, Malachi Barton, Lumi Pollock, Hudson Stone, and Casey Trotter, who performed the franchise's iconic anthem, We Rock, live for the D23 audience. The new cast also took part in a Next Generation panel where they participated in Q&As moderated by Sherry Cola. Fans attending the event also had the opportunity to meet the new cast and take photos with them. And I thought this was a really cool way for Disney to introduce the next generation of Camp Rock fans to the new cast, while still bringing back the Jonas Brothers and giving longtime fans that connection to the original movie. And speaking of what's coming next, let's get into some of the biggest movie announcements from D23. First up, we have some exciting news for fans of The Incredibles, because the third movie is officially in the works. Incredible 3 is currently set to premiere June 16, 2028. The original Incredible premiered back in 2004, followed by its sequel in 2018, so we'll finally be returning to the world of the Parr family 10 years later. This time, the story will put more focus on Violet and Dash as they try to prove they're ready to follow in their parents' footsteps and become real superheroes. Bob and Helen aren't convinced they're ready, though, and when the two decide to sneak out at night to protect the city, things don't go exactly according to plan. Meanwhile, Jack is still learning to control his powers, while Bob faces new threat that makes him question his own relevance in a world of superheroes that may have outgrown him. The movie will see the return of Greg T. Nelson as Bob, Sarah Vowell as Violet, and Huck Milner as Dash. I'll be honest, this was definitely one of the announcements that caught my attention. We've already had such a long wait between 3 movies, so I'm excited that we're finally getting another chapter into the Parr family story. I especially like the idea of giving Violet and Dash more of the spotlight. We've watched them grow up, so seeing them try to become superheroes themselves could be really interesting. And of course, Jack is still Jack, so I'm sure he'll cause plenty of chaos along the way. It's still a couple of years away, but Incredibles 3 is definitely one I'll be keeping an eye on. Next up, Pixar gave us a preview of a brand new animated movie called Ghost Market, which is currently expected to be released in March 2028. During the event, Pixar showed some footage from the movie, introducing us to a young boy named Kyle, who has just been forced to move to Hawaii with his family. In the footage, Kyle walks into a dark and seemingly empty kitchen, where he discovers a bowl of warm soup that appears to have been prepared for him. But there's something definitely strange about his place. At one point, Kyle even asks, "Hey, do you guys take Apple Pay?" We then see Kyle on FaceTime explaining that the movie is about hungry ghosts and that Ghostmaker isn't like the other scary movies. At this point, Pixar hasn't announced the voice cast, so there's still quite a bit we don't know about the movie. But the footage definitely gives us an idea of the kind of spooky and unusual story Pixar is going for with this one. This one caught my attention because I don't think we've seen Pixar do something quite like this before. The idea of hungry ghosts sounds really interesting, and I'm curious how they're going to make that work as a Pixar movie. The footage sounds creepy but also funny, especially the Apple Pay joke. I don't know enough about the story yet, so if I'm super excited, I'm definitely curious to see this one. Next up, Pixar also gave us a preview of Coco 2, which is currently expected to be released sometime in November of 2029. This will be the second movie in the franchise following the original Coco, which was released back in 2017. The sequel will follow Miguel Rivera as a teenager, taking place 3 years after the events of the original movie. However, Miguel's life is about to get complicated again when the disgraced Ernesto de la Cruz returns for a vengeful encore. Miguel is once again pulled into the land of the dead, where he unexpectedly finds himself having to team up with a resurrected superstar. Benjamin Bratt will return to voice Ernesto de la Cruz, although the rest of the voice cast has not been yet announced. I'm honestly really curious about this one because I love the first Coco. I'm interested in seeing Miguel as a teenager because we didn't really get to see that side of him in the first movie. I'm also surprised they're bringing Ernesto de la Cruz back because his story seemed pretty finished, so I'm wondering how they're going to make his return work. I don't know if I'm completely sold on the idea of bringing him back yet, but I'm definitely interested in seeing what Pixar does with it. Next up, Disney announced a brand new Bluey movie, which is set to premiere on August 6, 2027. This will be the first movie in the beloved series, bringing Bluey and her family to the big screen. During the event, fans got a special look at a teaser trailer, which revealed a new animation style for the movie. It still captures the world of Bluey, but the characters look different from the television series. David McCormick will return as Bandit and Melanie Zanetti as Chili, while the rest of the cast has not yet been announced. Ludo Studios has also continued its tradition of keeping the identities of the young voices private, so we may only hear about additional adult cast members as more information is released. I'm actually really excited about this one because it's Bluey. I'm curious to see how the characters and their smaller emotional stories translate into a full-length movie. I'm also interested in seeing more of the new animation style. It might take some getting used to, but I'm glad Bandit and Chili's voices are returning because they're such an important part of these characters. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more as we get closer to 2027. Next up, Disney announced a live-action adaptation of Tangled, which is currently set to premiere on March 31st, 2028. The movie is already in production, with filming taking place in Spain. Since the cast couldn't attend the event in person, they sent a special video discussing the movie and showing some of their filming locations. The movie will follow the core story of the 2010 animated film, with Tegan Croft playing Rapunzel and Milo Manheim as Flynn Rider. Catherine Hahn will also star as Mother Gothel. I'm definitely curious about this one because Tangled is such a beloved Disney movie. I'm especially interested in seeing how they bring Rapunzel's magical hair and the overall look of the animated film into live action. I'm also really curious about Milo Manheim as Flynn Rider. We've seen him in several Disney projects, so getting a major role like this is definitely exciting. And Catherine Hahn as Mother Gothel is another casting choice that caught my attention. We don't know a whole lot yet, so I'll reserve my full judgment until we see some footage, but I'm definitely curious to see what Disney does with this one. Next up, Disney Plus is bringing back a very important piece of Disney history with a new 3-part miniseries about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, expecting to premiere sometime in February of 2027. For those who may not know, Oswald was created by Walt Disney and U.B. Urwex in 1927 and appeared in more than 24 animated films before Mickey Mouse was created. However, Walt lost the rights to Oswald in 1928, with Universal becoming the character's owner. Afterward, Walt and UB went on to create Mickey Mouse. Disney eventually regained the rights to Oswald, and now the character is getting his own Disney Plus miniseries as part of a celebration of hundreds of years of Oswald. The story will follow Oswald after an earthquake frees him from his decade-long hidden past. He then meets a middle school boy who helps him navigate the modern world. The voice cast will include Steve Martin, Albert Brooks, Catherine Hahn, and Amy Sedaris. I actually think this one of the more interesting announcements because Oswald is such an important part of Disney history, even though he's nowhere near as well known as Mickey Mouse. I like the idea of bringing him back to the modern world and introducing him to a new generation. And with a voice cast like this, I'm definitely curious to see what Disney does with the characters. Next up, Disney announced a sequel to the 1997 movie Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion, which is currently expected to premiere sometime in 2027 on Hulu. Lisa Kudrow and Mira Sorvino were both at the event and revealed that filming has already been completed. The sequel will follow Romy and Michelle as they run a fashion boutique in Beverly Hills while embarking on a new search for love. Alan Cummings will also return from the original movie. Now I have to be honest with you guys, I have never actually seen the original Romy and Michelle High School Reunion, so I don't have the personal connection to the characters like I do with some of the other announcements. That being said, I'm curious about this one. Seeing Lisa Kudrow and Mira Sorvino return nearly 30 years later definitely caught my attention, and I think it could be fun to see where these characters are all these years later. Since I haven't seen the original, the sequel might actually give me a reason to finally go back and watch it before the new movie comes out. So while I can't say I've been waiting for this one for years, I'm definitely interested in checking it out. Next up, Disney announced another Ice Age movie, Ice Age Boiling Point. This will be the 8th movie in the franchise overall and the 6th main installment, with a release date currently set for February 5th, 2027. The movie will serve as a sequel to Ice Age Collision Course and bring Manny, Sid, Diego, Ellie, Scrat, and the rest of the herd back for another adventure. This time, they'll be exploring the dangerous lost world filled with dinosaurs and lava. Several familiar voices are returning, including Ray Romano as Manny, Queen Latifah as Ellie, Simon Pegg as Buck, and John Leguizamo as Sid. Dennis Leary will also be returning as Diego. I'm honestly a little surprised we're getting another Ice Age movie, but I can understand why Disney would want to bring this back that so many people grew up watching. The Lost World setting also sounds like it could lead to another fun adventure. I haven't seen every Ice Age movie, and I'm probably not going to rush out to see this one since I'm not a huge fan of the franchise. However, I do have a soft spot for Scat. He's always been my favorite part of Ice Age, so I'm sure he'll find some way to get himself into trouble again. Next up, Disney announced a sequel to the live-action Lilo and Stitch movie, which will currently set to premiere on May 28, 2028. The sequel will introduce Angel, Stitch's pink-colored friend, into the live-action world. Maya Kalila, who played Lilo in the first movie, was at the event and spoke about the upcoming sequel. According to Maya, filming hasn't started yet and the script is still in development, so even she doesn't know exactly what will happen in the movie beyond the fact that Angel will be joining the story. At this point, the only returning cast member who's been confirmed for the sequel is Maya. We don't know any other members of the original cast will be back, but hopefully we'll see the main cast return to reprise their role. I'm actually curious about this one because I think bringing Angel into the live-action version could be a lot of fun. She's such a recognizable character from the Lilo and Stitch world, so I'm interested to see how Disney introduces her. I do have to admit that I've not really been a fan of the original animated Lilo and Stitch movies or TV series, and I haven't seen the first live-action movie yet, although it's one I hope to check out soon. I don't have quite as strong of a reaction to the sequel just yet. Since filming hasn't started and the script is still being developed, there's not a whole lot we know about the story. I'm definitely hoping the main cast returns, though, and I'll be keeping an eye out for more announcements as the movie gets closer. For now, I'm curious, but I think this is another one where we'll have to wait and see what Disney gives us as development continues. Next up, Pixar announced a brand new animated film called Gatto, which is currently set to premiere on March 5th, 2027. The movie follows a scrappy black cat named Nero who lives in Venice, Italy, after becoming indebted to a feline mob boss named Rocco. Nero begins questioning the choices he's made with his life and forms an unexpected friendship that helps him discover his true purpose. The voice cast will include Mark Ruffalo as Nero and Lawrence Fishburne as Rocco, with the rest of the cast still to be announced. This one definitely caught my attention because first of all, it's a Pixar movie about a cat. I also really like that it's set in Venice, which gives Pixar a beautiful and unique setting to work with. The story sounds like it could be a lot of heart, and I'm curious to see how Pixar brings Nero's journey to life. And then you have Mark Ruffalo and Lawrence Fishburne voicing a black cat and a feline mob boss, which is definitely a combination I didn't know I needed. We don't know a whole lot about this one yet, but Gatto is definitely one I'll be keeping an eye on. Next up, Disney announced Zootopia 3, which will be the third movie in the franchise. The movie is currently in production, but there's no release date yet. The original Zootopia was released in 2016, followed by Zootopia 2 in 2025. Since the movie is still in the early stages of development, we don't have an official synopsis yet. However, the creative team has revealed that birds will be introduced to the Zootopia universe for the first time, with the story featuring a bird-centered storyline. Jennifer Goodwin is expected to return as Judy Hopps, while other key cast members are also expected to return, although they haven't been officially confirmed yet. I'm actually really curious about this one because the introduction of birds could open a whole new part of Zootopia world. We've already seen so many different animals in the first two movies, so I'm interested to see how birds fit into this universe. It's also interesting that we're already getting a third movie when Zootopia 2 is still so recent. There's obviously still a lot we don't know, but the bird storyline definitely has my attention, and I'll be curious to see what Disney reveals next. Next up, Disney announced Frozen 3, which is currently set to premiere on November 24th, 2027. Fans of this beloved franchise are going to be super excited to finally get another chapter in the Frozen story. Kristen Bell was at the event to share the news, revealing that Anna and Kristoff will finally be getting married with Elsa by Anna's side. Of course, this is Frozen, so things aren't going to go according to plan. Their wedding will be interrupted by a mysterious new villain with magical powers. There have also been rumors about a new character named Samantha who could become a snow companion for Olaf, although this hasn't been officially confirmed yet. The main voice cast will return, including Kristen Bell as Anna, Idina Menzel as Elsa, Jonathan Groff as Kristoff, and Josh Gad as Olaf. I have to admit, Anna and Kristoff getting married immediately caught my attention. We've watched their relationship grow throughout the first two movies, so seeing them finally get married feels like a really nice next step. Of course, the fact that their wedding is going to be interrupted means we're probably not getting a peaceful Disney wedding. I'm also really curious about this new villain and what role they'll play in the story. There are still plenty of questions surrounding Frozen 3, but I'm definitely interested in seeing what Disney reveals next. Next up, Disney announced a brand new animated movie called Hexed, which is currently set to premiere November 25th, 2026. The movie follows an awkward teenager and her type A mother who discover that they thought were their daughter's peculiarities might actually be magical powers. Their discovery opens the door to a hidden magical realm they never knew existed. The movie features an impressive voice cast, including Havneva Singh as the Doctor, Hallie Steinfeld as Billy Doe, Walter Goggins as Beef Rogers, Jodie Foster as Queen Celeste, Radisha Jones as Alice, Stephen Fry as Elisa Queer, and Tracy Lama as Miss Quill. I like that Disney announced an original animated movie, especially since we've already talked about quite a few sequels and established franchises. The idea of an awkward teenager discovering that what makes her different might actually be magical powers sounds like a fun coming-of-age story, and I like that her relationship with her mom is also a big part of it. And that voice cast is definitely impressive. With the movie coming later this year, hopefully we won't have to wait long for a trailer and more details. We've covered some of the biggest announcements, and I want to take a look at, but Disney announced a lot more during the event. So before we wrap up, let's do a quick rundown of some of the other movies and shows coming to Disney Plus or theaters. Let's take a quick look at what's coming to Disney Plus. There were several projects announced highlighted at D23 that I want to mention before we move on. Coming to Disney Plus is Kingdom of Hearts, based off a video game, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Season 3, Star Wars Ashoka, Season 2, Vision Quest, and the Imagineering Story, Season 2. So if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, then there's definitely plenty more to look forward to beyond the movies we've already talked about. And Disney also has some major projects headed to theaters. We have the new X-Men movie, as well as Avengers Doomsday. Those are definitely some big names to have on the upcoming Disney movie calendar, especially for Marvel fans. But Disney has plenty more to announce beyond movies and shows, including some exciting updates coming to the Disney parks. So let's take a quick look at what's in store. Finally, Disney also announced a ton of new attractions, expansion, and updates coming to the theme parks around the world. There is way too much here for me to go into detail on everything without making this episode even longer. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what's coming to each park. Disneyland Parks, Anaheim, California. They're going to refresh the Tomorrowland. Avengers Campus is getting a big expansion. Remember Dreams Come True Fireworks is returning. Magic Happens Parade, and an update to Rivers of America and Main Street USA. Disney California Adventures is getting a new Coco attraction and an update to the World of Colors. Magic Kingdom, Walt Disney World is going to see a new Villains Land and a new Cars attraction. At Hollywood Studios, we're going to get a new Monstropolis Land based on Monsters, Inc., including a new coaster. Animal Kingdom will see a new Indiana Jones attraction, Encanto attraction, animal-themed carousel, which will show animals based on the Disney movies that we all love, and a restoration of the Yeti on Expansion Everest. Disneyland Paris will see a new Lion King attraction, return of the classic Space Mountain theme and design, and in 2027, the Hyperspace Mountain will end its run. Tokyo Disney Resort will see a new Wreck-It Ralph attraction and completely rebuilt Space Mountain. That's just a quick look at some of the attractions and park updates Disney has in the works for around the world. And that's it for today's episode of Flicks and Chills 1616. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow and leave a rating. It really helps the podcast grow and reach more fellow movie and TV fans. If you want more behind-the-scenes content from your favorite movies and shows, or to stay up to date on what's airing, be sure to check out my Instagram page. It's the same name, FlixandChill1616. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode, so feel free to reach out and let me know what you'd like me to cover next. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.